Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
Back again with another one.
Was you lighting the match? Was that a match?
I'm like a Mac and we on fire.
I like that. I like that. Welcome to No Stats, like we mentioned, back again with another one. Before we jump into this AFC North team, we switching divisions up. Make sure y'all like, share, comment. You know, the usual. Ring that bell so y'all can stay locked in with all the sports takes and videos and team takes and player takes that we're going to be giving y'all. NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, all that's right around the corner. So y'all got to subscribe. Y'all got to ring that bell so y'all can stay locked in to hear me win every debate with Peach, because I don't think I lost since we started No Stats.
He's down bad.
So make sure y'all hit the subscribe button and keep showing the love. Love is love, baby.
Love is love, baby. Brown fans.
What you want to say?
I was about to say, Brown fans, get your pitchforks.
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, and you said it Jason Jack. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Bro, man, we in the AFC North. The division of the Cincinnati Bengals. But today we're not talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, are we? We're talking about the Cleveland Brownies.
The real division winners this year. Y'all know my shit.
Browns fans, man. I feel like, and I say this from a place of just, I try to be a realist, right? Like, I understand, because I know the comments are going to fly from Browns fans. So before we jump in, I understand, like, the Bengals haven't been this winning machine, right? We're not the Patriots of recent memory, or the Niners, or even the Steelers, and, the teams that have been winning for a long time. But I'm just talking about winning in some form. You guys haven't won a division title since '89.
I'm on the Browns side, but goddamn.
You have never even made a Super Bowl. You've been there when it was the NFL championship. I mean, Peach want to crack up. I mean, it's been a hard ride. But I'm not here to bag on y'all. We giving season predictions. We don't want y'all to cut the video off. I'm sorry. Peach is a Browns. Peach likes the Browns.
You guys will win this division this year.
I am just bringing
Deshaun Watson.
I'm just and I like the Browns team. I like the players. I know Baker came and got a playoff win, which was huge. What he did. I like Myles Garrett. I know they've had the Bengals numbers, a few years. I know all of that. I do like the talent around this team, but I just feel like sometimes there's a black cat walking around that organization. It might be two of them.
This black cat.
It might be two of them in Cleveland, bro. They might just walk around together in that motherfucker. But I don't know, man. I think Deshaun Watson will back to Peach's point, bounce back, and I think he'll have a much better year with some games under his belt. He'll be much more loose and getting the rhythm back. Nick Chubb is the best running back in the league. I'm going to give y'all some of y'all flowers now. I joked around, but Nick Chubb is the best running back in the league. Myles Garrett is arguably the best defensive player in the league. You got Denzel Ward. You have some pieces. You brought in Jadeveon Clowney. Who you bring in?
Tomlinson, I think his name was.
The Edge.
Who's going to fuck shit up?
The Edge. Who they bring in? From Minnesota. I'm sure it's on the additions page once we get into it. But they bring in some help on the other side. You got Amari Cooper. You bring in Elijah Moore. We'll get to the additions and all of that good stuff. But I do think this Browns team will be a playoff threat in the AFC. Not to win the division. Peach is bugging. But wild card spot, I can see them hopefully getting there. As long as you kick that black cat out.
High expectations, man. You're getting rejuvenated. You finally have a dual threat franchise fucking quarterback. You have a. I don't want to.
I don't want
to give them the big I don't want to give them. We're not talking about Tobias Harris, Savage.
My fault.
Who also? I'm not gonna give them the 3-headed monster tag. But you also still have Amari Cooper. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones. You bring over Elijah Moore. I think Deshaun Watson has some keys. Still have David Njoku.
I like him.
You know what I'm saying? He has pieces around him that he can play with on this offensive side of the ball. Like you said, they have the best running back in the league in Nick Chubb. So I think if you manage his workload a little bit, I know losing Kareem Hunt was, that's big in that backfield of what he can do.
They still got time to sign him back.
Passing, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully they bring him back. But you know what I'm saying? I have, if they can get the necessary stops, like if they could stop teams, bro, I don't think they'll have any problem scoring the ball.
I actually think it's the opposite, bro. I think they'll be able to stop people. I think Denzel Ward is very underrated. And I forget who they got. Greg Newsome, the second on the other side. I like their corner. I like their secondary. I think their safeties are good. They bring in Juan Thornhill and Rodney McLeod. I love their defensive line. Like, they have some talent, bro. They've been having one of the best offensive lines in the NFL for some time now. But I think it's the offensive side of things, right? I expect Deshaun Watson to be better this season, but can he actually return back to that form that we've seen? Can he do that? Is that still possible? I know what Amari Cooper's going to bring, but, is Elijah Moore that guy? It failed. There's a reason why the Jets moved on from him, right? Zadarius Smith was the guy I was talking about from Minnesota or Green Bay. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Browns fans, let me know. Correct me. But I know he's a beast. I can tell you that. Zadarius Smith is a beast. And he'll bring some pressure to that. They'll be better, right? The problem is, and I sound like a broken tape recorder, but the AFC is so deep, man.
That's why they got to win this division.
If the Browns, I'm ignoring that. If the Browns were in the NFC, bro, totally different ball game, playoff team, and I think they can get going at the right time. But we'll get to the schedule. Let's jump into these key additions and key losses. As I mentioned, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Thompson to clog up that middle a little bit. They bring in Okarunku. Did I say that right?
Okabanya.
There you go. Beach Africa. Elijah Moore from the Jets who can bring in some speed, be a really nice slot for Deshaun Watson to have. I mentioned the safeties. They're bringing Marquise Goodwin, who has the speed to threaten teams deep where you have to play honest when he's on the field. Or he can catch a slant or a screen and take it to the house. So another weapon to add in there. Cedric Tillman to add in some depth. And then they draft DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State. Big right tackle. He looked okay. He looked good in preseason, but we'll see when you got to go against some big dogs if his feet is fast enough to move for guys coming off that edge. They lose John Johnson. Like we said, Kareem Hunt's still a free agent. They lose Jadeveon Clowney, Deion Jones, Jacoby Brissett's gone, which shouldn't be a big deal with Deshaun Watson there. They lose Greedy Williams to Philly, and then they lose Dearness Johnson. So Nick Chubb's health will be critical because I think if somehow, knock on wood, don't want to see Kareem Hunt, nobody get injured at all. But if something it's a physical sport, and if something was to happen to Nick Chubb, you kind of weak at that running back position now, not having Kareem Hunt or Dearness Johnson. But all in all, man, I think, again, bro, I think the additions outweigh the losses with Cleveland. I think they should be a better team.
Yeah,
and they get a new defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, what was it? Drawing a blank on his name.
Not Vic Fangio, that's Miami.
Tom Schwartz?
Yeah, Schwartz. They're bringing Schwartz. Yeah. Who should bring in some vets, some of that. His scheme should be, I don't want him to change up too much, right, because of the weapons and the stuff that I said, but I think he should bring in some experience, and some pedigree to that side of the ball.
No, absolutely, bro. It's Jim Schwartz. I apologize.
Jim Shorts. Yeah, Jim
Jim
Shorts.
Schwartz. And that's what they needed,
Yeah.
bro. They needed that defensive identity. I love the way they beefed up that line to, take a little bit of that pressure off Myles Garrett. And I know you said it's the defensive side of the ball that you're more worried about the offensive side of the ball, but I think this offense can throw a lot of different things at you. And you updating me on the speed of Elijah Moore and the speed of Marquise Goodwin. I think that opens up things for Mr. Glue Hands, Amari Cooper, who damn near catches every damn thing.
Yeah,
But
Mark
I
was a
think
beast.
that opened up a lot of things for him. And then you got the big body and Peoples Jones. If Deshaun can get even like 80% back to what he was in Houston, I think this is gonna be a scary team, bro.
My thing is this. I agree, bro. I think they can be scary. And like I said, I think they'll be better. I think Deshaun Watson will be better. They could very well be a 10-win team. Like, I think that's possible. But my thing is, with having the best running back in the league, if Deshaun Watson comes out first 6 games and he's looking phenomenal, do you take the ball out of Nick Chubb's hands? Like, do you honor that balance, right, with the run game and the pass game? Because it sounds great having the best running back in the league and potentially a top 5 quarterback in the league. Because when we seen Deshaun Watson in Houston, he was a top 5 quarterback. So we know that potential is there. So if you have that, that's when it's up to the coaches and the play callers to make sure you maintain that balance, you keep teams honest, and Nick Chubb doesn't get unhappy, right? Because the biggest thing with coaches and GMs is managing egos of these players, relationships, and not to say that will be the case, but if Deshaun Watson does get back firing, and Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and, all these receivers you just named, they like, yo, I'm open. Like, we feeling it. Give us the rock. Nick Chubb like, yo, you tripping. I need my 20. I've been getting 25 carries a game since I've been here. Let me get the pill. So you worry about that too. These are all things that don't seem big, and you brush them to the side. But in the grand scheme of things, man, these guys want to get the rock.
I think too, bro. Like to elaborate on that as well. I think if you're a team, if you're this Browns team, and you're week 8, you're 6-2, or week 9, you're fucking 6-3. Anything in that fashion, I think whatever's working, you should stick to. If I'm Nick Chubb and I'm getting my 25 carries a game, but I've looked each game that I done had, 21 carries, we've lost those games. But then in the games where I had like 16 carries, I had more pass catching yards. Okay, now I'm thinking as like a veteran guy in this league, a guy that wants to win, that wants to bring success to this Cleveland team. I would go with what works. You know what I'm saying? If it's looking like, and you've seen that in history, we know who team it is, we know who's our leader, but you have to stick to what works. And if it's working with Deshaun Watson hitting these guys in the slants or hitting these guys deep, as me being Nick Chubb, I gotta be like, all right, whenever y'all ready for me to carry this thing, I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm almost ready, but you know what I'm saying?
That's how you would, no, absolutely, and that's how you would hope Nick Chubb would take it. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying he won't, but that's that possibility, being a guy like that. Another thing before we jump into the schedule quickly is, and I mean this sincerely, is Deshaun Watson a leader? The talent could be something, but look at the quarterbacks who've been excelling these last couple years, right? Patrick Mahomes, when Tom Brady won one, not two, with the Bucks. Joe Burrow, we know he's a leader, getting to a Super Bowl. We know Jalen Hurts is a leader, right? These teams that are going far, you need guys who believe in quarterbacks. We believe we're gonna win a game because of who we got behind center. And Deshaun Watson has all the talent, but you don't know how people feel about Deshaun Watson. He had all that off the field stuff. We won't get into that because it's not what we do, but there's a lot of allegations, you don't know how people feel about certain things. So can everybody get around him and be like, this is our guy? And can Deshaun Watson go, I'm the leader. Listen, y'all, we got this. We can win the Super Bowl, and everybody believe that. So that'll be a big question mark as well.
And to piggyback off that too,
yeah, go ahead.
He has to prove himself again.
He
like
does.
prove himself like big time. And I think the couple games that they let him play last year just to kind of get his feet wet. But I think this is not heavy on the make or break, but the because if they have another down year, now you're looking at the damn contract that they signed with this guy. You think about changing coaches. You might have to do some rearranging of the front office. That leaves your situation with Nick Chubb vulnerable. So this is a big season for Cleveland, man.
Agreed, bro. Agreed. That was perfectly said. All right. Let's jump into the schedule.
Let's see. Roll out the brown carpet.
That's a nasty carpet. Last season, the Browns were 7-10, right? And like I said, I have high expectations for this team. But when you look at the schedule, you look at the division, you look at the conference, some tough games in there. Excuse me. So, week 1, you're at home against Cincy. I know the Browns fans are going to say we have beat Cincy at least once these last couple years, right? Joe Burrow only beat the Browns once since he's been in the Bengals.
Let me hit the facts. Sam.
I get all of that, and it's not a Bengals video, but I think week 1 will be a lot. I think Cincy will pull this one out. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think Cincy will go into Cleveland and win that game. I think the offensive line in Cincy has improved. They bring a lot of people back. That continuity is key. Offensive coordinator back, defensive coordinator back. A lot of the defense is back. Offense, all of that. Guys playing for contracts. I think that's a loss week 1. Week 2, you go to Pittsburgh. Now, this Steelers team, this division is tough. The Steelers team, and we'll get into the Steelers video as well, so stay tuned for that. But they're going to be a problem, man. We talk about Mike Tomlin all the time and how he doesn't have a losing record. You got to go to Pittsburgh. I think that's a loss as well. Start the season off 0-2. You're home against the Titans. I think that's a win. And then you're home against the Ravens. I do think this is a potential win. But I do have you guys splitting with the Ravens, and we'll get to that later. So I gave the L at home in week 4 to start the season off. Kind of slow. It's an early bye, which I'm sure Cleveland players don't love. But week 5, you get a bye, and you 1-3 going into the bye. We'll stop at the bye like we always do, bro. 1-3. I think you could be 2-2. Ceiling is 3-1.
I like
but
it. I like the
think
breakdown. I think 1-3 makes sense. I think the first 2 weeks that's tough. Even though I do think this is nothing against your Bengals.
Nah, they've
with the facts at home.
Home opener.
I'm not gonna say that you guys have heavy expectations, but you guys have a lot of expectations.
Who don't have? We got heavy. We got heavy.
Say
heavy.
You know what I'm saying? Heavy. Colossal, John. So y'all are expected to come out in this game, and for overall in the season, we're expecting like AFC Championship bid. You know what I mean? Y'all have higher aspirations than this Browns team. They just want to get into the playoffs. So I think this is a great game at home to come out. Said in the last video we did, you want to send a statement. You want to send a message. This will be a message to the league, but also to this division on, you got to take the Browns serious this year. So, I mean, I got my eye on that week 1 versus the Bengals, man. With the facts.
Don't get me too
with the facts,
bro. Don't give me your changes yet. You know we're going to get into that at the end of the schedule.
With the facts.
Running through the week 6 to week 10. Week 6, you come off that bye. You're home against the 49ers. I think that defense will be smothering. That'll be a low-scoring game, 17-13, 49ers. You're at the Colts. I think that's a W. At Seattle, I think that's tough. I think Pete Carroll will outcoach the Browns, and I'm drawing a blank on their head coach's name. But then week 9, week 10, and week 11. Week 9 against the Cardinals is a layup. Then you're at Baltimore. I said you'll split with them. You'll split with the Steelers as well at home. I think this could be a Deshaun Watson game where you see Deshaun Watson kind of the Steelers' defensive line is kind of stout. I think they'll pack in on that run and try to contain Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson to show out here. 300-plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that. Week 12, you're in Denver. dealing with that altitude. Another great coach in Sean Payton, Russell Wilson. They will be better this year. I'm not saying playoffs, but they will be better. And I got that a loss. You go to the Rams, who's a team who sold everything to win that Super Bowl. They are depleted outside of Cup, Stafford, and Donald. So I think you go into LA and you get that W. You're home against the Jags. This is a team with also some aspirations, right? They got a playoff win last year. They have the better quarterback as of now in Trevor Lawrence from what we've seen last year. Doug Peterson is a good coach. He has a Super Bowl ring. Calvin Ridley's back. I think that's a lot to ask to beat a team that's a playoff team. Not that they can't, but I got that L in Week 14. 15-16, some favorable matchups. Homes against the Bears, away against the Texans, W's. And then you finish off the season, Week 17 versus the Jets. I think the Jets can win that. I think the Jets will be playing for a little more. Not that, the Browns will be 8-7, so this will be a lot of playoff implications in that game. But I think the Jets will pull that out. I'm just going Aaron Rodgers there. And then Week 18, if I have them at Cincy. I definitely think this is a loss. I think Week 1 could be a win, but I definitely think Week 18 a loss because not jumping too far ahead, but I think that Week 18 would mean a lot for the Bengals as far as 1 seed in the AFC and things of that nature. So as much as I do think this Browns team will be improved, I know it doesn't look like it from this 8-9 record. But 8-9 is what I came up with.
One game. Only giving
That's
one
what I
game.
That's what I came up with.
I think they could be 9-8, man.
Definitely. I said they can be a 10-win team, bro. They can be they can beat the Broncos and they can beat the Bengals in Week 1 or the Seahawks in Week 8. They could win 10 games, bro. But 8-9 is what No Stats has. We have 8-9. But as always, Peach, what loss is you changing into a win? And which win are you changing into a loss?
You know what's crazy? I love the wins on this schedule. It'd be hard for me. I'm gonna go out a little bit in left field from what I'm looking at. I'm gonna win that I would change to a loss. I'm gonna be the spoiler here. I'm gonna go Week 16 at the Texans. Deshaun Watson loses his marbles. They get stuck without that. You know what I'm saying? Old team, that building rocking. They win 17-14 off a field goal.
I like that actually.
Kind of spoiled that return of Deshaun.
I'm mad I didn't think of that.
Chill.
I'm mad I
Chill, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that'll be my W. I change to an L, and then the L I would change to a W. Be the Week 1 versus the Bengals. Yeah. I gave y'all a little preview in the beginning. My fault.
All good. If I had to change a W to an L,
talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
I would probably say the Steelers Week 11 because you spoke about the Browns, beating the Bengals more than they've lost to them in recent years. But that's also been true for the Steelers and the Browns. I think the Steelers has owned the Browns for a while. I think Mike Tomlin is Mike Tomlin. I know Mike Tomlin is Mike Tomlin. TJ Watt is up there with Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons for best defensive player in the NFL. This Steelers team is talented. Minka Fitzpatrick. They got Hayward in the middle, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. They add to that defense with Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. Kenny Pickett should be a year elevated. George Pickens looks like if he can get the ball, he looks like a top
Antonio Brown.
Oh my gosh! If he can be that, you got Deontay Johnson. You got the offensive line is improved. I'm going on about the Steelers. Najee Harris. So I think that could be a loss. The L I'll change to a win. I'm going Week 4 against the Ravens. The Browns can sweep the Ravens.
They always play them kind of well, don't they?
They do, but Ravens sneak peek. I'm not too high on the Ravens this year. So we'll get into that, but if I had to change it, that'd be that. But 8 and 9 is what I came. Was I not fair with this though, bro?
I
Like
think this is
9 and
I think
8,
this is
8 and
very
9.
fair. Yeah, very fair, bro. Can't even complain at that.
Yeah, Peach done left.
Excuse me, my fault. My laptop was about to die on me. They gave me the little notification like you got 3 minutes. All right,
but no, 8 and 9. Browns fans, Brownies, let us know how y'all feel about this 8 and 9 record. Let me know if I'm an a-hole for all of the comments that I made. But you gotta keep it a buck, like the facts are the facts.
The facts are the facts, baby. Browns money line week 1. Seth said it subliminally.
Done.
I didn't even say that word.
Bye.
The facts is the facts. Browns money line week 1.
I'm putting it off right there.